So in a previous post or reel or however it comes out, it was talking about how you can get to your chiro in your office. Now, if you are a gym owner, I'm going to use language that is very, very legalese, but unfortunately, sometimes the words that are very legally defined are also words that are defined differently in the real world. And I'm going to use the word professional. So if you're a gym owner, you are not considered a professional. And unfortunately, that's a very dangerous way to communicate because automatically it would create this assumption or illusion that this individual is unprofessional, and that's obviously not the case. Professional in a legal term as it relates to bringing PTs and or chiros into your gym is someone that's licensed. A professional is someone that's licensed, certified, or registered. Those are usually the three terms that the government in some way, shape, or form has designated these individuals. Not that they're good at what they do, but that they are not going to create material damage or significant bodily harm. This goes way, way beyond physical therapists, chiropractors, massage therapists, etc. These adjunct services that absolutely can make you a lot more money and create a much better experience in your fitness-based facility. Everything is linked. Everything is connected. But why does this become a thing? Well, in most states, if not all, but I'm pretty sure there's probably some Wild West states where things are a little bit different. Every state's going to be a little bit different. But if you are going to generate revenue from a professional service, well, then the professional has to own the business. Well, why? Well, here's the reason. Part of the reason that there's these professional designations, licensed, etc., is to protect the market. Whether that happens or not, totally, agreed. It likely is not the way that we would want them to be protected. Because remember, those licenses and certifications and registrations do not suggest at all that this individual is good at what they do. It means they're not going to kill you. They're not going to harm you. For instance, a plumber isn't going to, or rather, not that they won't, but that they have requisite level of education, and they have proved this to the government, that when they bang on your boiler, it's not going to flood your basement. If the basement floods, it was because it was an honest mistake. That's what a certification or a license is telling you. A barber, for instance, a barber would have this very high level of licensure because they can cut your ear when they're cutting your hair. So these are things that major problems are going to be zeroed. That's what I don't think people really understand that. When you go to see a doctor, it doesn't mean the doctor is good at what they do. It means they're not going to kill you. That's what the minimum standard of having a license or having some type of governmental designation, okay? Now, part of that is that these service providers have a level of ethics, which has been proven based on the examinations that they take and the education and the experience that they have gone through, that they have an ethical responsibility to not do the wrong thing. Forget about their safety. For instance, they're not going to charge you more than what they're supposed to. They're not going to continue to do work when the work isn't necessary. Those ethical standards are part of what is in place to protect the market. That's how all of this consumer affairs type of things work, okay? Now, let's get back to what we're talking about. Why can't the gym owner just hire the physical therapist and pay them a salary just like they would any other trainer? The reason is because the law does not recognize that the professional, the gym owner, has the ethics to understand that services can no longer be provided, revenue cannot be continued under certain circumstances. And that's why this is a big challenge and why you don't see it a lot. Because what I've just described is completely antithetical to intelligent great business. Great business is that I'm gonna hire person X and I'm gonna pay him $5. And I already know that they're worth $7 based on if I can put them out there in my business and I'm gonna pay them $5, they're gonna generate $7, okay? That means I'm profiting $2 and I'm winning. That's how this is supposed to work. Now, you can't do that for a physical therapist because, again, these ethical measures are not being checked. It's patently against the law to profit share where you can't pay a physical therapist $5 and then charge 10, where you're gonna generate 7, so you're plus 3. You can't do that. What you can do is rent space to the physical therapist. There's some different strategies on you can run their business, but it's still owned by the professional and all of the money comes into that professional and then they pay out for things that are not related to the license, such as real estate, such as the cost of the internet, such as the cost of the air conditioning or heat, such as cleaning up the office every Thursday evening when all the patients are gone. All of those things are non-professional services. So there's ways to work together that more challenge or grow revenue. But if you go back to the other post, we're not really talking about benefiting the patient anymore. It's okay to talk about business, and it's okay to have the best profit margins possible, but that's what makes this so difficult and why some people just say, forget it, I'm not getting into it, because it challenges their core business if they look at it that way, and it challenges their profit margins. It has to be this brand extension for it to be legal. And I don't think a lot of people know that because, quite frankly, a lot of people break the law doing it. And I'm not going to suggest that I've never sped, when I'm driving on the highway. It's not illegal if you don't get caught to a degree, okay? That being said, this is a big challenge when you try to bring professional service like fitness and try to incorporate that medical side. It's necessary for the quality of the product, but it has significant challenges on how the revenue is brought in and how it's distributed.